personally, these are players that you're putting in your flex spot, and maybe you want to maybe sit these guys for maybe somebody else that has a little more opportunity. And the guy that stands out to me, and I have been putting him on my bench, is Kyle Pitts. This guy has been playing like an absolute trash can the previous weeks. Unless it's tight end appreciation day or week or whatever the hell it is, that's the only time he's playing well. I would prefer to pick up Juwan Johnson as a free agent, Tyler Conklin as a free agent, or Grant Calcaterra, who went 3 catches and 1 touchdown with the Eagles last week. I'd prefer to start any of those guys over Kyle Pitts this week. I don't want any part of Kyle Pitts this week, or maybe the rest of the year, until we see Michael Penix take over in that offense as the quarterback. Zach, who do you got as your bust of the week?
Brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
My bust is since Eric went out on such a limb there and picked Kyle Pitts, my bust this week is going to be Tommy DeVito. I don't think he's going to be very good. You probably shouldn't start him.
Zach, it says 2018 Patrick Mahomes.
Maybe 2017. Well, I did change something. We'll find out about that later. But my bust of the week is going to be Jonnu Smith, and he's actually been really good the last few weeks. But he's ranked as the number 7 tight end on ESPN right now. Until the last drive, the game-winning drive for the Dolphins last week, he had a 0. And Danny DeVito's never a bust, so get that off there. Jonnu Smith, to me, is a solid, top 15 tight end. But I'm not quite ready to, I think he's ranked ahead of Mark Andrews, who I know hasn't had a great season, but he's been better in the middle of the year than he was at the beginning. I wouldn't take him over Mark Andrews, but that way. Not ready to fully commit to Jonnu, even though he's had some good weeks. Last week easily could have been a 0, so he's my bust.
Yeah, looks like we had a little bit of issues with some graphics there, but I believe I'm up next. So for me,
I tried to stop it. Marcus. Don't do it.
I believe I'm up next.
He tried to stop it.
Yeah, no worries. So for me, it's going to be Jayden Daniels. This is mainly because when I went and looked at the rankings specifically on ESPN this week, their consensus rankings had Jayden Daniels as their number 2 quarterback over Josh Allen. And I was shocked by that, especially after what we saw Josh Allen do last week. Mainly when you just look at the matchup of this game, we talked about a little just a few minutes ago. I think Washington will win the game comfortably, mainly because the Saints are just not going to be able to do anything on offense. I don't think Washington's going to have to really try. So Jayden Daniels isn't going to be forced to throw many pass attempts at all. The Saints have allowed the 8th most fantasy points per game to running backs, over 5 yards per carry. So I'm expecting Washington to have success running the ball. And unless Jayden Daniels just somehow he gets 1 or 2, sneaks or runs at the 1 yard line, because that's just how fate is. That's the only way I see him paying off. Otherwise, I think he struggles to produce top 10 fantasy numbers this week because it's just they're not going to need him to. So if I have other guys, maybe trying to just think back. Like a Brock Purdy or something like that. I would expect Brock Purdy to outscore him, and Brock Purdy is probably ranked right around QB 10 or so, off the top of my head. But again, I'm just trying to think of reasons, if you think Jayden Daniels is going to be QB 2 this week, I just don't see it unless, Washington decides to have 40 pass attempts this week, which wouldn't make sense to me.
So do you like the
Saints?
Saints?
One quick comment on that, though.
Obviously not.
I have a comment on that. It is something I've observed. So a few years ago when Baker Mayfield was a rookie quarterback, I noticed they were intentionally passing in touchdowns at the 1 yard line, trying to get him to break the rookie passing touchdown record. I could see a situation where the Commanders are padding Jaden's stats to make sure he gets that rookie of the year in a game like this.
Here's my question.
I still
to you,
wouldn't rank
Zach.
him number 2.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Is that good for the Commanders to get him Rookie of the Year? They're going to have to pay him a bigger contract. It'd be smarter to let him not have those.
I think Washington fans would sign up immediately if they're paying him a second contract.
maybe, Jason, maybe that's what the Bears are doing, letting Caleb Williams get sacked all this time, trying to get a cheaper second contract. Maybe that's what it is.
Interesting tactic, but I think it should be noted. It's possible.
It's the long game.
His long game, he's going to be in a wheelchair if they keep this up.
Yeah.
Moving on to our boy, Marty. I know I jumped the gun on this for you earlier, but I know you love this guy. You really
preview. I do love him in general, but Tyrone Tracy, I think, is in for a rough week. So he's going up against the Ravens. They are only giving up 82 rushing yards per game, which is the lowest in the NFL. And on top of that, the game probably is just going to get really ugly for the Giants. Danny DeVito's old. He's short. He can't see over the line.
Danny DeVito. He can't shake it.
I think it's going to be a really long, long day for the Giants. I mean, like, if it's a full PPR, there is a path to Tracy being okay just because he's going to catch a lot of checkdowns. But I think it's going to be a very ugly day rushing and even efficiency through the air. I just don't think he's going to get much in this one.